What's up, everyone? Hope you all brought your brown shitting pants in this interview. I am Big Kev here, Big Kev's World, inside the square circle with Santiago Cirilo.
Hi, yeah.
Now, Santiago, a lot of the subscribers, I've told a few of them about you because some of them are indie wrestlers and they wrestle
Right.
all around the world. So I told some of them about you. So explain to everyone who Cirilo really is. Like, who is Santiago Cirilo?
First and foremost, it's Wednesday, baby, and you know what that means. Get ready, man. AEW weekend is in effect. Great pay-per-view coming up this weekend. We got Wednesday, we got freaking Friday, we got Dark, we got a lot of great things going on. Man, I am such an AEW fan, and the reason why is this, and this is the answer to the question, bro. I've been a wrestling fan since I was 9 years old. When I say a wrestling fan, people don't understand true wrestling fans out there, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, but I've been at the armories, I've been at the school gyms, I've been out there at freaking backyards. I've been out there knowing and literally following the careers of many wrestlers, legends, and current wrestlers. And the great thing about it is that me growing up to that, two things saved my life. Number one is the geek world, which is cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, comic books, superheroes, you name it, stuff like that. Second is wrestling, man. You can actually get away and be with your peers, be people who can communicate with each other. Because in the so-called real world, we're all judged and we're all geeks, nerds, or wrestling fans. Oh, this and that, da da da. But man, I am as down to earth as can be. I support independent filming, independent companies, small businesses. I've been born. I was born in Puerto Rico, raised in Lorain, Ohio. Went to college, studied law, decided to join the Army, was in the United States Army Infantry for about 8 years at Fort Campbell, 101st Airborne. Got deployed, done a lot of great stuff with the military, and then decided to work in the world, come back, and I got into making guitars for Gibson guitars in the civilian world, studying law, became a certified paralegal, and studied law and got into the entertainment business as a side money, part-time job, kind of get into it because I was always a character growing up, man, hosted talent shows and do things. People always like, man, you need to be in the movies, you need to be on TV. Took a chance, man, did a little kind of side, how do you say, schooling, little classes at night of not just the entertainment acting world, but also the entertainment business. So I know what I'm getting to, man, what I can write off, how to go around with Uncle Sam and all that nice stuff. You got to know the business first before you get involved with everything else. Most people want to get into acting and didn't know you had to pay taxes anyway. But other than that, it grew, of course, with the world changing in California, taxes and all that, was a big thing because of the filming industry. They're like, hey, we can film in LA and da da da. Now we got so much high technology that we can film, movies off our phone. And a lot of the tax breaks decided to move down south, especially Tennessee, Georgia, Louisiana, Kentucky. You could go on. And they create a great film and television industry, which opened up the doors for actors and like me, and got into movies, man. Within a year, I was in a lot of hit shows and TV, and of course, build up. I've been in it for almost 14, 15 years or so, and got in great movies and shows to include, my homies out there at TWD Family, out Walking Dead in season 4, and continue, man. Made movies with even wrestlers, man. I got a movie with EC3, got a movie with Tyrus out there, aka Brodus Clay. I've been killing it, man, and now I'm starting to direct, write, produce, getting involved more, including being an author, hitting books, and another book that I was just reading the final of Veterans Homecoming, and then we got another horror book out. I mean, there's so much stuff I'm involved with. It's unreal, man, and it's a blessing. But I always give up to the great things I do. So I decided to invest in a wrestling company out in Arkansas. Don't get me wrong, I support independent wrestling, a lot of great wrestling companies that I still get along with, still show up sometimes here and there, but I invest my time in a wrestling company out in Arkansas called Revolutionary Wrestling Entertainment, also known as RWE and Grubs. We're celebrating our 2nd year anniversary. I'm the general manager now. Joey Britt is the owner. And this in 2 weeks, we're going to not just people know him as Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell will be at WrestleFest in a few weeks, but he gets to share his story. He's going through some treatment, fighting abuse, and getting back in his mental state and being a human being thanks to DDP Yoga. And he literally is going to show up, do the show, and fly out. There's no partying, none of that. We respect him very well, and we're happy that he's going to be part of the WrestleFest. So, yeah, man, I hope I told everything real quick.
Well, I'll tell you this, though. This is what I wanted to tell this story because everyone knows that we did the Myers versus Voorhees film. And
yeah.
Well, here's something that people don't understand. When we first met Santiago, we came to his beautiful house, the farm, and as soon as he opens up the door, he goes, "Hey, I have to let you guys know I have a vicious dog." And I always tell people this story because when we come around the corner, here I am expecting a Rottweiler, Pit Bull, German Shepherd. It's a Chihuahua.
Samson, may he rest in peace.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but now I got a little guy. I got a poodle. I had Samson and I had a Yorkie, Yoshi, and the thing about me is you could call it saving dogs, saving animals. Most of our animals have been either abused or were in their last leg, you could say, and we took them in and saved their lives, gave them a little vacation, and we have a little pet cemetery where we bury our family, we call them. So right now, good thing is I have a big blue heeler named Walker, named after Walker, Texas Ranger, and I have a poodle, what do you call him? What's he, a toy poodle? I don't call him toy. He's a small poodle, but his name is Swayze. He's named after Patrick Swayze. So he usually jumps on my lap and tries to stick his nose in my camera sometimes.
So when we did that independent horror film, you were very like that. If Cirilo's right, he's very helpful. He was really helpful to us. He let everybody in with open arms, and we got a chance to have some fun with him. Got to know him a lot better, and actually went to a WrestleMania party at your place.
Yeah. I still watch WrestleMania. Yeah,
I remember that. You had that nice Superman championship belt.
Still have it. Yeah.
Yep. So we were talking about that because me and Mel were talking about we were talking about doing a Friday the 13th during a Christmas special, and we were sitting there talking about that. We're like,
making a Saturday the 14th.
We're talking about making a Saturday the 14th. Like, what was Jason do on a Saturday the 14th?
Oh my gosh.
So we're talking about having some fun with that. But when you talked about The Walking Dead, and you were on 3 episodes on season 4, right? As Julio.
Yeah, season 4 during the prison takedown. They're actually mid-season finale and beyond, I think, a little bit.
Now, do you have any stories on set, like how some of the cast members, like Norman Reedus and them, treated you? Or
oh, dude, fantastic human beings. I always tell this story that it's funny is that I didn't know what The Walking Dead was. I was just starting being an actor. I never heard of the show or anything. I was doing a mini series for Fox in Louisville, Kentucky. And I get this call from my agent, and she was all hysterical, like, "Oh my God, oh my God." I was like, "What?" She's like, "You're on The Walking Dead." And I'm going, "The Walking what?" She's going, "The Walking Dead." And telling me, and I'm like, "Really? Is this all this hype for a zombie show?" And she was like, "Oh my God, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Get to Georgia as soon as you're done." So I end up in Georgia, man. And This people welcome me with open arms. I mean, there's a lot of things that was funny because me not knowing about this show, everybody was going nuts because I never watched the show. From the people that were background walkers, even the main cast, and, and they were flipping out. I walk up and I see these rows of motorcycles, and I'm going getting on them and checking it out. Sitting on those. And there's some cool bikes, and they're like, "You can't sit on those. Those are Daryl's bikes." I'm like, "Who the hell is Daryl?" I said, "Who's Daryl?" But and it's funny. I mean, I got to work with all of them. And Scott Wilson, of course, was, man, just a legend, a great man, great human being. Spoke enough. I mean, he had even recommend me to a Comic-Con, and I was like my first ever Comic-Con in Nashville, and I was guest with Scott Wilson. So I mean, they're great human beings. I met Andrew Lincoln because I thought he was a security guard. He was dressed in a sheriff's outfit, and I didn't know who the hell he was. So he was next to me, not thinking he's security. So I had some great times, man. But the best thing is that growing up watching George Romero and all the Turn of the Living Dead, you can name them all, man. All these zombie movies, and shows. At first George Romero, of course, the most serious, and then some of the other ones were a little jokes, still funny comedy kind of mix and whatever. But you go on this set of Walking Dead and you can't help but feel that feeling, like, oh my God. I mean, like, you think of everything classic that you can think of. Frankenstein, Dracula, Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi. I mean, the whole deal, man. And George Romero, and you're in it. You're really in it. And you see the special effects. You see how they work together. You see how the whole deal comes to a story, and they film 2 or 3 episodes a week or whatever. And I mean, it is unbelievable. And that is one of the great things about it. I've been in a lot of sets before Walking Dead. I've been on major motion picture sets. I've been on USA Network, Lifetime movies, you name it, man. I've done it. I had got the honor to visit the Green Lantern set when it was filming in Louisiana. And dude, Walking Dead, it's amazing, man. You can feel that, not just the set itself with knowing, oh my God, this is a big set, but you can really feel the independent kind of deal where these people worked in movies that were not getting paid and trying to fulfill that dream and doing the whole, formula like Friday the 13th, where all these independent movies got, legendary tales to tell years and years. And Walking Dead, man, has it. And you can tell this story along with attachments to it from ages to come, man.
And what's great about it though is the fact that what's sad though is that the season's finally starting, the series is finally starting to dwindle. But I know that there's some spinoffs, and I saw the post. There should be a spinoff for Julio.
We'll do it. Hey,
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? There should be a spinoff for Julio.
Here's the deal, man. The show, the nucleus of the show is going to end. But look at Star Trek. Look at that kind of deal. You're still going to bring them back. You're still going to have, actors or characters that you fall in love with show up. Andrew Lincoln is the biggest. Rick Grimes, he's going to be back. Rick Grimes is going to be back. I mean, there's going to be some other things going on. Of course, there's a movie, there's spin-off shows, but the whole concept is Walking Dead. So you're going to get flashbacks, you're going to get appearances, so the true of the show would never die, just like Star Trek. It would never die. But me with a spin-off show, yeah, man, there's talks about it. There's been some talks about a fan-based show, me linking up, telling my story and linking up to adapt to the video game story with Lee on it as the main character. There's a lot of good things, and there's fans. I mean, we could pull it off. We could probably get the funding and do it and all that. But it is kind of a, we talk about it, then we don't talk about it. Then we talk about it like we're gonna do it, then we don't talk about it. So, if people want it, then they just gotta ask for it, and we can work it out. it's not hard to get the permission to do it. They do Star Wars fan films, they do Marvel fan films, you name it. But it's not hard to get the permission. We just can't make money, but we can raise money to get it done. But we can't make money to. I know that I can't make a Julio comic book out of it.
Hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind coming on a Julio show. I would be Julio's second assistant. I wouldn't mind. I would hold a gun and have some fun.
We can definitely pull it off, man.
That's like one show that actually Melissa Mel started watching before me. Like I was kind of like you. I was like Walking Dead,
Yeah.
But once I watched it, I was hooked on it. And then when we were watching season 4, she's like, "Hey, look who it is!" I went, "Oh my god, Cirilo!" I was like, "All right."
What's nuts is about at the time it's all started. It's really like mostly viewers were females, and they introduced their husband or their spouse to it, and that's where you get the family time. Man, I could tell you stories where people took Sundays as Walking Dead days, but they also made it as family time. They discuss it after the show. They watch the show. They have people that got together that never got together in years having family time, and they do it. They had all these great connections, all these great, reconnected with family. It's amazing how that show does so much and did so much. And the blessing part of it is that, man, it is a great fan following from certain ages to grown adults to the elderly. I mean, you name it, everybody loves it, and we can all relate to it.
I think a lot of the women that were watching the show loved some Norman Reedus.
Yeah. Norman sure loves it, man. He worked in a lot of independent films before he made it. And that character was created for him. Pretty much they needed some. I believe that they needed something to go off away from the comic books, and Daryl was it. Every time, if you watch the show, there are people that read the comics. If you follow the comics with the show, It goes identical, and then there's Norman, or there goes Daryl, and all of a sudden it takes a turn, and something else happens. It's a good thing to add to it because you can never get spoilers. Oh, so and so's gonna die, and next you know someone else dies.
I said to myself, I know they would never ever kill off Daryl. I was like, if they killed off Daryl, that'd be like having people at their place going.
It's a market, bro. It's a business. He sells more shirts than anything. He's the most loved character, most selling character. That includes against him and Rick Grimes. So, you make a market, dude. Walking Dead, TWD, all these things, man. They sell everything, pencils, hats, and everything. So it's a market. So he needs to be around. That's one reason they got spinoff shows.
So I know that you were on the set of Nashville. They had to see a couple seasons here in Nashville. What do you think that show did for the city of Nashville as a whole?
Dude, and it opened up a tourist attraction. That's what it did. I mean, people still visit certain areas of the set, but they got to research history and see how much Music City is. And man, it is unreal. It bumped up the city. It bumped up the state. Real estate market is ridiculous. Everybody, is moving down here. You can look up all the statistics of Nashville, and that TV show has bumped it up even more. And the sad part of it is during that time, the show could have been still going on, but the sad thing is at that time, we still didn't get approved for film budgeting. So Georgia was making, it was cheaper to film in Georgia or cheaper to film still in LA than it is in Nashville because the market, they didn't know about the movie industry. Right. And once that they fought, and a few of the musicians, a lot of people took, paid in to get it here and seen the whole deal, how it's going on and how it attracted. And now, man, people talk about it all the time, the TV show Nashville. And it's like, oh, yeah, we watched the show Nashville. I mean, I still get residual checks, so people are still watching it. But it has done great for the city. I mean, I personally think now that the film incentives have changed and are better, there's a lot of things going on in Nashville and in Middle Tennessee and the outskirts, other cities. We're doing a lot of filming. There's a lot of filming going on, and you're going to see more of it, and it's going to continue. Because now you don't just have to use Nashville. You can use Clarksville. You can use Murfreesboro. You can use, all the outskirts cities, Chattanooga, Knoxville, and still get that great cinematography feeling because you can film anywhere in Tennessee, anywhere, really.
I always tell people who have never lived in Tennessee, if you go and try to film something in Tennessee, you cannot find, you can always find a beautiful shot
Oh yeah,
anywhere you go around here. It's not, I mean, like there's Springfield, there's a really good area. You can go to Franklin, you can go to Murfreesboro, you can go to Clarksville, you can go all around like Tullahoma, and it's just beautiful, like trees, wooded areas. So, and there's a lot of horror films that are getting filmed around here. I know that who was on our film too, Amy Simpson. She's still killing it out there, and still doing independent stuff. And it's Tennessee. I'm surprised is not should get some more motion picture films to film here. I mean,
it's moving, man. There's studios being built. There's a lot of like I said, there's a lot of TV shows and movies are being filmed, and this year and the next few years, you're gonna see a lot of projects coming from Tennessee, and they're making it big because I mean we're so close to surrounding states. Kentucky's getting filled up with a lot of filming where they need another place to film, and they'll pick Tennessee. I mean, there's so much things going on. Same thing with Georgia. Knoxville, Chattanooga borders Georgia, and people are like, "Hey, man, it's getting too expensive to film in Georgia," so they go to Tennessee. And we got right to work states, no state income tax. So there's money out here, man, and everybody knows it, and it's really attracting the entertainment industry.
now I know you were a huge wrestling fan like I was, and I saw a couple old wrestling clips of you, especially at Pigeon Forge, and I saw I saw you got jumped by a bunch of hillbillies in a cage match, and um, so what made you decide to buy and actually and get yourself into the indie wrestling scene?
There's this thing called the Haya Nation. That long story short, it's against bullying, against all part of negativity, suicides, overdose, you name it, man. Of course, right now we're going through some times where children are committing suicides. Man, we just got this shooting going on that happened in Texas and stuff. I mean, we don't know the justice story, but we do know that it involved a 17-year-old kid that did something awful, evil, and we all hate the shooter. We all hate all this, and we have to look into the concept of what's going on in people's minds that we can stop this because there's always signs. There's always signs. These kids and people that want to do harm to themselves or others, there's always signs, and we ignore it and we say it. Oh, he'll be all right. Oh, this will be okay. Oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, he's just joking around. You can't take that anymore. We can't take that excuse anymore. We have to dig deep into it. And the whole thing with wrestling is to get them out the streets, get families to bond together, get these kids to see entertainment more, get to understand that it's family entertainment. People see it, a lot of things in TV where, it's just adult stuff, and these kids are bored and they're glued to these video games, and there's a lot of things in these games that we don't even pay attention to that involves a lot of violence, and a lot of violence. And, movies and TV, not only do we have violence in it, but we end up telling a story. And we could tell, oh, this is fake. Oh, this is this. Oh, this, oh, yeah, they use special effects. We try to explain it enough. And same thing with wrestling. We tell a story, but it's always the good and the bad, the good guy and the bad guy, stuff like that. When you get involved in all these other things that teenagers or kids get involved with. There's no explanation. It just either, I mean, there's people that get so involved that they'll change their name to a wizard or something, you know, and it's not a bad thing. I love geeks. I love nerds. I grew up with it, but that's the only thing they feed into, and not knowing there's other aspects in life where you don't have to get that to secure, so I'd say, close yourself and only be in that mindset. That's why people play a lot of these adventure games and stuff. They're in different worlds and they're like, man, this is our getaway. But there's no better communication than human communication. And you have to be physically out there. So wrestling is a way to do it. We tell a story. We respect your way of life. We respect what you do or whatever. But we also tell a story and we give entertainment where it shows that family, you know, against bullying, against negativity, family organizations, family, we have sponsors. We throw a lot of things added to that square circle, picnics, family picnics, meet and greets, more things that involves where sponsors get in and like, hey, we want to help too. Next thing you know, things are added to it where increases the communication in the whole area, your whole neighborhood. You know, it's a great thing, man. And I'm glad I'm invested in it, you know, and I'm being part of it.
I think you're doing a really great thing. I know you have that Cirilo 7 page as well. And I think you do a lot of great things. And I don't tell a lot of people this, but I've, ever since my childhood and into my adulthood, I've been battling mental health I still got all those demons that I battle all the time. And when you have a lot of positivity like that, it really helps. And it really.
Dude, it does. I mean, I tell people a lot. It's like, look, man, the only reason I go on these lives or do these interviews is because it helps me. It's my literally medication, because I all this energy I build up, you know. One thing my wife said is that a lot of these people that you see that are comedians and funny people and energetic and so positive about life are the ones that are battling the most with depression. And that's me. That's literally me. I wake up every day depressed. I have PTSD. So I need my medicine. I don't want to be pilled up. I want to have positive energy. There's so much thing in life that can kill you. A smile, the Superman superhero pose, a hug, a handshake. I mean, just doing something right, whether you think about it or not, you know, and communicating with people is the best thing I can do. And I love hearing people's stories. Hey, man, I try to kill myself. You give me this and that. I'm like, man, you just telling me that, Kev, just gave me my medicine. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the same thing with you, man, is, you know, mental health, worst thing about mental health is that you feed yourself with the negativity of it. Look for an open door, open a window, yell, scream.
I always tell people it's not like you're not. I always tell people who go through it, any other persons that we know, I'm like, you're not alone.
Yeah.
In this situation. And I know that for, you know, me and Mel are coming up to 11 years being married. And I know that I haven't been the easiest mofo to live with. Especially when my depression, anxiety, and PTSD starts going haywire. I'm not the nicest person in the world, but at the same time, I mean, you know how that feels, and you know what I'm talking about. That it's a you wake up sometimes and you just feel like you just want to close the door and put the blanket back over your head and go, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, man, it's the worst thing to do.
Right.
You know, make it as simple as it could be by just walking out and just enjoy nature. You know, go to a park, walk, do something. I know it takes a lot of energy to do that because you're so depressed, you're so hurt, you're so feeling negative. You don't want to get out of the couch, and then all you do is toss and turn on this couch or wherever, and you keep saying the same thing. What is there to do? What can I do? Oh my God, I'm bored to death. Oh, there's nothing to do. Man, I wish I could do this. You know, you got to clear all that nonsense of echoing and noise and negativity and go outside. Walk barefoot if you have to. Walk to a park if you have to. Just get that where the nature of it silenced the negativity, and you could think more. You could literally think more, and it's a proven fact. People can work out in the gym all they want. Said, "Oh my God, I'm not losing weight. I'm not." Da, da, da. You can have literally an exercise out in the woods doing the same thing: pull-ups, push-ups, walking, fast walking. Thinking, talking, lose more weight that way than the gym. It's a proven fact.
You see, what's I actually miss doing the acting, and I miss being in the ring because it was kind of you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a drug. It's really,
yeah.
It's a really.
I know it. I know it very well. Look, that company I deal with, RWE, we always have auditions. We always have schools and stuff. They are very well in communicating, especially with me being on it. And I always tell people, when I deal with business and friendship, it's a totally different market. As much, but you have to show me the steps to be in the business. Go there, wrestle, try out, check out the show, introduce yourself to the owner. I'll introduce you to the owner. I mean, know the market, how it is now. It's been a while. Know how it is to get a bump again. All that nice stuff. And then you feel, if you really want to be in it, go into the show. Take a couple bumps, feel how it is. Know how it is to drive a few hours. Some people drive 5 hours to a show, and know how it is to drive back, or know how it is to, again, some of them want to go to the show so bad they'll sleep in their car. Of course, it's an employee thing. It's an employee thing. So it's not like people don't get paid and all that. People are like, well, you got to learn your dues. We know the whole deal. We know the whole aspects of the company and what it takes, but we're not stupid to ignore the fact that you sacrifice your time to drive with your own money and all that. So anyway, but check it out, man. It's a great feeling.
I saw in your post, there's a guy on your promotion, Tony White, that seems to be ducking you.
Ha!
So, I mean,
let me tell you this, and I give nothing but respect to Tony White's family. They're all great young men who are in the business, amazing athletes, amazing human beings. But me and Tony got a little ruffle scuffle, and it's almost like a Wolverine and Deadpool love relationship. So I will say this, and I respect Tony. I love him to death, but he's an asshole. And I would definitely take him in the center of the ring and beat the hell out of him if I want to. And he keeps ducking me sometimes. He had a neck injury. Then he's, I'll never wrestle again. And there he shows his face up again. So, me and him are due for a great wrestling match. And we're going to build it up. We're going to build it up enough where everybody's going to finally know, because I'm going to call out his name a lot. And I'm to the point where I'm going to have a Tony White shirt that says "Poop on Tony White." I'm going to have as much things to show that Tony will never, ever run away from me again. And he's going to deny it. I never ran away. No. So I'm going to make sure that he has no choice for wrestle me in the ring, whether it be with Swag Wrestling, which he does. And those are great human beings too. Swag Wrestling out in Henry, Tennessee. And I'm due back to go there because they're one of the first company who got me in next to another company, New Breed, which no longer exists. But Swag Wrestling has been around for a while, and they helped me out. And I would always love them. And Tony White goes there. And of course, Swag Wrestlers we already talked to them and the owner. They're more than welcome to come to RWE and wrestle. And so you never know when Tony White's going to show up. So,
when I used to do wrestling back in the day when I was younger, when I did the training and everything like that, I'm going to ask you this, Cirilo, because for me, the first thing that ever hurt for me was the ropes. Now, some people say it's the bumps. For me, it was the ropes. Now,
right.
what was when you first started messing around in the ring? What did you feel?
Soreness. Instant soreness. I go against the ropes. Ropes, man, you got to understand that's not just a stage. That is an arena. And the ropes, where you get rope burn, you get you could break your ribs going against the rope. You can lose. If you hit them wrong, you can lose. You could lose your breath. Next thing you're collapsing. The biggest thing I've learned is that you're there and you need to respect that ring. If not, you're gonna hurt yourself. But learning, being there after shows, much respect, man. I ended up bruises. I ended up with a lot of pain that lasted a month or two. I never broke anything, knock on wood. But I felt the whole deal. I mean, you gotta perform. I had smacks, I had punches, I had everything, kicks and all, and I experienced it all. But bottom line is, it is not a place where you're gonna come out and like, that was easy, like a carnival ride. No, you're gonna leave. You're gonna pay your dues. You're gonna leave your dues. You're gonna leave sweat. You're gonna leave pain. You're gonna leave blood, and you're gonna continue to love it because that's exactly what you do. You entertain. You give a story, and you become more of a professional athlete. So never think about people saying it's just a show. It's all fake and all that.
I'll tell anybody from RWE and Swag Wrestling. This is just a message to you guys because Cirilo's my boy. So I'm just throwing this out there. Any of y'all thinking about feeling froggy, jumping on him, all Cirilo's got to do is call this big gorilla right here, and I am there in a heartbeat, and I will be in Cirilo's corner.
Yeah.
I ain't playing. I mean, I haven't had a chance to knock someone's head off for a while, but I mean,
he needs a reason to, Cirilo.
He needs a stress reliever.
I mean, I've been looking for it. I mean, I was going to join this one wrestling YouTube show, but they're kind of creepy and weird. So,
no, we're very professional, man. We got a locker room. We got a whole setup. When people come see it, they reference Ring of Honor kind of deal. Nice. So we got a good setup, man. So
if I start doing that podcast thing you're talking about, maybe I could do a podcast live at the show or something. We
can do a lot of great things. Hey, I'm all about it, man. Like I said, you do a podcast. You can create as a matter of fact, there's a show that I wanted to do where I travel to film locations, well-known movie locations, from Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, all this stuff. And just interview people how life has changed in that town, the Twilight Town, all that stuff. And get to hear from them because we always hear about the actors and all that, but we never listen to the changes of the community. Check out Walking Dead. We go to Sonora, Georgia. Sonora, Georgia was a ghost town before Walking Dead. They filmed a lot of movies out there, Sweet Home Alabama, Fried Green Tomatoes. I mean, a lot of movies and so forth, but it was still not a town where it was profitable. Some people had to go to work somewhere else. Here comes Walking Dead. Now there's so many small businesses, places, a tourist attraction. I mean, it's a hit little town now. So I mean, and I want to get that story out along with other stuff. Includes even a cast. Here's the news. And kind of deal. So we'll see.
What's great about that is that I know Mel's from New Jersey, and most of Friday the 13th was filmed in New Jersey and some parts of New Jersey. And what's interesting? I never told anybody this, but she was born in Haddonfield.
No.
Voorhees Hospital?
I was born in Voorhees Hospital in Voorhees, New Jersey. Yep.
Yeah. Haddonfield, Illinois is not real.
Mm-hmm. But you also wrote a book called The Headhunter.
Yep. Zombified Headhunter. That is a long story short. I wrote a film script for it, pitched it out to so many markets to the point where I feel that part of it was stolen to create a TV show that was pretty popular on a certain network, but it wasn't Walking Dead related. But so I took it off and stopped pitching it. Then fast forward a few years later, met Kendra Sauter, independent horror, well-established, award-winning independent horror author, and I read her stories. I didn't pitch anything to her. I just picked up the books and read her stories, and it was the Mrs. Hyde deal, and I was like, oh my God, this woman can write. Pitched her Zombified next time I saw her. And of course, the Zombified, I didn't finish it also. It was on a big cliffhanger. And Kendra Pretty was like, what the hell's going on with you? Da, 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 da. So we made a deal, created a novel, created a book, decided to make it a series. We got so popular with the release that it caught the eye of some filmmakers and led me to Netflix and Representative. And then COVID hit and shut everything down, and we already took it off the market because we thought we were going to get a sealed deal with Netflix and stuff. So I had to revamp it, fix it up. Got my friend Rick Prince from Sci-Fi Channel's Face Off to work on the cover with me and do some little glitches stuff. And Kendra did some things, and we released it, and it's out in the market. And then now book 2 is coming out. And we are in talks with Elliot Fernandez, which is a artist and writer, I believe, artist for DC and Marvel. And he is very well known doing his stuff. I mean, the guy draws everything. So we're going to pitch it to do a graphic comic book or a graphic novel. Mm-hmm. And then do a TV show pilot. So we're taking little baby steps, but it's growing. Book 2 will be out this fall. Kendra's about done with it. And then once it hits, I got to go over it again. And we're already started writing book 3. So it's going to be pretty cool. We don't know if we're going to end it or not, but we got very big plans for it. It's a franchise. It's going to be a franchise. And the great part of it is people see it like, oh, it's one of them zombie kind of stuff, Walking Dead stuff. Okay, we get it. Everybody wants to take a little bit of it. Everybody wants to do their story. No, it is totally different. The words, of course, deals with zombies there, here and there. But you got to read the book. It is my version and my way to get back to the fantastic world of monsters and creatures that from yesteryear. So I invented through Zombie Blood my own version of vampires, my own version of Sasquatch, my own version of gargoyles, my own version of Frankenstein's monster. And it is not labeled that, but with the details and description of it, you already know who it is. So it is a great thing. It's a great thing. You got to know it, man. You got to read the book. Read the book. I can't tell more because I just want people to, man, just tell the intro too. You know, read the intro of it. And what's crazy is I wrote that story like 8 years or so before the pandemic. Got it published 4 years before the pandemic. And it starts in 2019, 2020 with the freaking pandemic kind of deal.
And so I post the anybody that watches the video later, I posted the link on Amazon where you guys can look at the book and get the first chapter or two. And so
check it out, man.
So me and Mel will probably check it out anyways because we.
Yeah, you can download it too. There's downloads. Yeah. We're doing a voice kind of later on. We're gonna do a audio book. Rick Prince is actually doing the first book audio. And then we're looking into getting it out in the market all together, man, this fall for Halloween, because a lot of stuff is dropping down, man. And I think Zombified and my other book, A Veteran's Homecoming. I did a movie with Eric Roberts. I did Slaughtery movie. I mean, there's this movie, Devil's Hollow. So it's like a lot and the TV show Searchers, all coming out at one time, man. And it's going to be nuts. So I want to market Zombified and get it out there because people need to read.
It's essential.
Reading is essential.
Essential
to the mind. You gotta read the book, man. But actually, going back to going back to the wrestling part, like who were some of your idols in wrestling? Like who'd you grow up like?
Dude, I've watched wrestling for ages, and people, like I knew Mark Calloway before he was Undertaker. I knew a lot of great, Kevin Nash when he played basketball for UT.
Yeah.
But one of the greatest, one of my idols, is back in the days, is Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. That was one of my greatest things, is watching Ronnie Garvin load up his hand and punching it, Hands of Stone, knocking somebody out. Of course, there's so many verifications, but I think the one-shot deal kind of opened up for a lot of great other moves, DDT, all the vicious choke lines and, all that stuff. Of course, there's other moves out there, but, the knockout punch, the one super kick, I mean, all them, impact kind of hard. I think that all started with Ronnie Garvin. And anyway, but that's the wrestlers I watched. Ronnie Garvin, I used to watch, oh my God. Of course, I don't know if people know, Nikita Koloff. Back in the days, it was just some great wrestlers that didn't get the whole nod like they should. But man, I go on list, Georgia Wrestling, NWA Wrestling, all that stuff, man. Superstar.
I don't think I ever told you, Cirilo. I actually grew up with that kind of wrestling too. As I found out that my grandfather took my uncles to a show back in the day and almost got into a fight with Japanese wrestler Johto.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and there's a big 6'4"
too much into wrestling, man. That's some great stuff, dude. Yeah,
and
that dude's huge.
Yeah, and my grandfather was 6'4" or 5" at that point, so I'm sitting there thinking, man, he get his big old hands on him. It's gonna be.
Oh my God, that'd have been great.
But my mom and dad, they got to see Andre the Giant wrestle. I grew up. What really got me into it was one day I was at the Missile Auditorium, got lost. My brother was looking for me, and I bumped right into Hulk Hogan as a kid, right into his leg.
That's awesome.
And right then, I was like instantly hooked, and I started watching like the old era wrestling, like AWA and NWA, USWA, and I'm like you. I like the old school stuff. That's why sometimes we do a podcast on here with a couple of guys, and we talk about the old school era of wrestling on here. So it's actually a really good.
Yeah, man. People think wrestling just came out when WE or WF and all that. I mean, it goes back to the back days. Before filming. I mean, it's been very much out there. And what's crazy is that wrestling, like people don't know wrestler. They keep keeping the character model. Back days, you don't even break character or whatever. And what's funny is the first time I ever knew of the term breaking character was my brother. When I was in school, junior high school maybe, my brother was a souffle chef at the airport. Back then, restaurants, hotels were big next to airports, not like they're all over the place now. They were usually just the entertainer come in, go to the airport hotel. And my brother used to cook for Andre the Giant, Ric Flair, all the great wrestlers, Roddy Piper. I mean, I got the stories, man. All the Andre the Giant drinking freaking kegs of beer. I mean, mini kegs and big glass. I mean, he would never get a buzz. And he'll drink all their wine. He'll literally empty out their wine.
Gallons of wine, too.
Yeah, dude. I mean, stories of all of them, Iron Sheik, all them guys my brother got to meet and tells me their true characters. He goes, here's the truth about them, But they're all great people, never back days. He never had a bad experience with them. But yeah, it's kind of weird, man.
Since you still watch wrestling now, what do you feel is the difference with wrestling now compared to back then? Like, let's see.
Merchandise, dude. It's a merchandise game now. They try to attract more of selling the character in merchandise than telling a story. So, for instance, you express like a model. When a model walks down the aisle, He's got all the glare, all the fashion. Oh, who's these pants? All this and all that. And there's a stiff character. Where wrestling is almost similar to it. And I'm not picking out all the wrestling companies. Specifically, WE is the one that does it a lot. And they get to the point where they're promoting it to sell the market in merchandise more, where you get all total in the 2-hour show, you get like maybe 4 matches. And they're talking most of the time. And they're trying to sell the story through a merchandise thing. That's why you have them with T-shirts, have them with different, all the whole deal. And it's not a selling market no more. It's not a wrestling. And I can understand that sometimes when you get in that big market, you don't want to change it because, WE made over $1 billion even through the pandemic, and of course they cut a lot of their talent and so forth. But man, look at all the shows now. I mean, NXT was kind of the rebirth of the old school of WE when it was WF kind of deal. You saw more matches. You got more of the gimmicks through the matches, not through a microphone. AEW is selling it because they are selling the matches, the talent. Look at Dark. Look at After Dark. Look at Dynamite. Look at all their shows that they have, man. As soon as they open up, it's a wrestling match. They'll sell the gimmick through the microphone will be on for a certain amount of time, but they're not talking the whole time. They're not talking 2 hours worth of show or an hour and a half worth of show. Usually when they're on the mic, it's just sell the next match or sell the match by interruption. Someone come in beating up 4-on-1. The whole concept of the old school wrestling and stuff. That's the best thing. It's ROH, it's AEW, and believe it or not, it's a little ECW mixed with it. And they don't go too extreme, but they do sell it. They do sell it to the point where everybody's involved. They're in WE, there's the market guys.
Right.
Roman Reigns, all them guys out there, the Usos, now, of course, Cody Rhodes, they're selling that. But in AEW, it's everybody in the market. You get to see the people that work, Dark and everything else. Even if they come in for 1 or 2 days, they're selling them. They're introducing them. You don't get that in other markets. You don't get them to know people who are in dark matches and they're in, Dynamite all of a sudden. I got friends that wrestled. They wrestle for AEW. They wrestle for NXT. They get on TV and whatever, and they keep saying it, man, AEW lets you do a lot of freedom and invite so many people, and they're constantly looking for people or so forth or whatever.
Right.
But they sell it, man. They sell it, and they introduce, which a lot of people don't do, just like GCW is doing it now. They introduce other independent wrestling companies. I mean, it's unbelievable. You never hear that no more. You never. The forbidden door is literally open. They're doing it with New Japan. I mean, that's unreal. Never heard of it. WE hasn't taken that step. They try to wait for contracts to break out. They knew Cody Rhodes knew the business of wrestling. That's what he was in AEW. He did the business and made it wrestling. Helped make it wrestling. Don't get me wrong. More people were involved in that creation. But he brought it in. And now look, Cody Rhodes is out there and he's using, in WE, and it's a whole different feeling, man. Whole different feeling.
I know you have the AEW shirt, but who in AEW are you digging? Me personally, I like MJF. I think he's probably one of the best heels in the business right now.
Dude, and it's funny because if you look at MJF's old school, before he was in AEW, still best on the mic, still the best heel. You cannot put MJF as any kind of baby face. It will not work.
And he puts his family in the social media. His family will call him an asshole and all that.
Of course, the guy is a fantastic worker. He's got it going on, man. He's definitely a hot ticket item. Besides him, I don't know, man. They're also good. They're also equal. They're also talented in their own aspect. even with the new, even with other wrestlers coming in from WE, but I always liked the Dark Order. I always liked it. I always liked the little clique of the Dark Order. I like a lot of them, and of course, one big guy that I'm glad he's getting attention is Warlow. Warlow, man, deserves that attention, man. The dude is athletic all around, all around. I think he'd be a good addition to ROH. I think he'll be a good addition to ROH. If not, AEW needs to put him on the hot market, man, and get him in the realm for a championship contender. Because he put a hell of a show when he went for that title shot, and of course, good old MJF kind of ruined it for him, and so forth. Started this whole storyline, but he showed what he could do on that top notch, man. He showed what he could do.
And Sting is still killing it.
This thing has always been a godfather of it, man. That's one thing that people don't understand. There's Ric Flair, of course, but Sting in fantastic shape. Before, of course, he had that problem in WE with Seth Rollins, hurt his neck, kind of ruined the whole return of Sting kind of deal. AEW did right, worked it little by little, put him in tag matches, at the same time being an idol as he is for other wrestlers, including Darby Allin. But he still has it, dude. He still has it. He still has all that energy, all that stinger splash, all the scorpion death drop, the lock, the whole deal, and he does it without, losing time on it.
I know. I know that you're a big comic fan, but I know I have a subscriber on here who's a big Superman fan too. So I was sitting there thinking, was it about Superman? Like, what's Superman mean to you?
Here's the story of Superman, and I got my name in Krypton, Santiago and Kryptonian, and then I have a tattoo of Superman. But here's the story of Superman, and you guys are gonna trip out about it. I was raised very poor, very poor. There's no doubt of it. I was digging in trash cans and dumpsters. I was that dump diver, trying to find a toy, trying to collect aluminum cans, all that. My mom worked all her life till she died. My father was not in his state of mind, alcoholic, abusive. Didn't know my father until the last 5 years of his life. I actually called him my dad. But my mom did everything, man. 6 boys, 2-bedroom duplex. We lost houses. We kept moving. We lived with roaches. My mom slept in couches. She never had a room to herself. At the same time, she was the breadwinner, the only one. Long story short, she ended up working overtime, ended up getting one of them Christmas bonuses. They started out back in the days. And out of all her money, she bought me, at that time, it was in style, underoos. And I never had anything in style, so I wore underoos, Superman, and it was the Flash. And Superman was my first one, and I wore the hell out of it, where I was being bullied because people made fun of me. You're wearing pajamas to school and all that, but it always stood. And I read into Superman. Of course, I knew the basics of Superman. He's a superhero and all that. But the basics of Superman, lone, last son of Krypton, I had to adapt to the world of society, even though he was very gifted, without showing too much of his gifts, being strong. And it kind of adapted to what my mom was. Very strong, very gifted. People didn't see her talent. She had to adapt to society, knowing that she was more powerful than anything. And I kept that up. And every day, man, Superman reminds me of my mom. So I keep that in heart, and I keep pushing it to never give up. I have a birthday card, the last birthday card she ever gave me. I still have it, and I read it sometimes. And it tells me to follow my dreams, never give up, man. And I still do it. I actually got my hands on a pair of underoos and still in the
I had
market.
some Batman underoos.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, the cape and everything.
So that's the whole deal, man. And I cherish Superman. I think he's the best superhero on the planet. I hate Batman, but I love the villains. Yeah, man, if I ever have a chance, I'm building me a Fortress of Solitude, man.
Well, I know a lot of people like Christopher Reeve as Superman.
Yeah.
But who is Christopher Reeve your favorite, or did you like Henry Cavill, or you?
I do. I love Henry Cavill. I love Christopher Reeve. I think Brandon Routh did a good job. The whole deal with Brandon Routh is that he's a great actor. He's a great actor, and I'm glad that they fixed that whole dilemma with him in the Crisis on CW. If you guys never watched the Crisis, had a great, send off to Christopher Reeve and Brandon Routh, because literally Brandon Routh plays Superman, was the same Superman Christopher Reeve was. So they try to add that story, continuous story on, and the whole deal. Didn't work as much well, but yeah, it's a Superman show. But I think I think Cavill and now, and of course oh my God, I'm getting a brain fart. I know Tom Welling was fantastic because that was such a totally different universe. But the new WB Superman and Lois, fantastic show, fantastic. But I think the whole deal with Superman is to tell a different story. Do not use any of the Christopher Reeve stuff, because Richard Donner stuff, that was a different universe, different kind of introduction to superheroes. Now we can do anything. We can bring superheroes to life in anything. Back then they're like, oh my God, how are they going to make Superman fly? Oh my God, how's Batman going to have a Batmobile? And they do it because we were so grown up into the slow process of superhero making. Because man, you could go to Superman back in black and white, where every time he flew, it was an animation. People like, oh my God, there's so much crazy effects, and now we're so poisoned in CGI that we're just like, oh, I don't care, man, just tell the story, but just don't tell the reoccurring story. There's only two superheroes that you can make gazillions of dollars and tell the same damn story, and that's Spider-Man and Batman. And people still watching, still spend money on it, But anyway, Cavill right now is the man. They need to keep the Snyderverse going.
Did you I don't know about you, but when I first saw the Superman versus Batman film, I was disappointed because I really wanted them to not really team up. I wanted them to be at odds. I really wanted that to be a continuation of that whole Frank Miller thing that they did, but they ended up making them Martha thing, and then that kind of just boop.
Yeah, I understand the whole Martha. I mean, the thing is, the Frank Miller, Dark Knight, all that stuff, man, if you read it in the comics, it is so long, and you can't, they try to give so much back to it. Zack Snyder, I believe the movie was good, but and it's good to the point where the introduction, one of the best introduction fight scenes that they ever had in Batman, still today, when went into that warehouse and he whooped ass. That was like the best Batman fighting scene ever. And even today, including the new Batman movie came out, it was just amazing. So people had problems with Ben Affleck being Batman. Here's the thing about it. I love Ben Affleck. There's only two people that can separate Batman and Bruce Wayne. If you're a true diehard superhero, you would know it. Michael Keaton separated Bruce Wayne and Batman. If you never watched Batman, watch it again. We're like, oh, he's just Batman. That's the thing. You can't take Batman as a superhero. He has double personality. He is Bruce Wayne and Batman. And Michael Keaton did it, and did it very well, to the point there's a scene in Batman where they're like, Bruce Wayne, he goes, sometimes, he goes, are you sure? Kind of deal. Little small things make a big difference in movies. And the deal with Ben Affleck, he did the same thing. Now, people are going to go back, hey, man, what about Dark Knight and, and all the stuff there? And, and I'm like, look, the reason why Dark Knight sold the way Dark Knight made was two things: the director, the story, the villains. The villains made Batman look good. You could put anybody in that Batman suit and the Dark Knight trilogy, and it would still sell. I know people are upset about it, but watch the Dark Knight and all the movies. and you will see that the villains, the Scarecrow, the Joker, Bane, those sold the story. So anyone could have been Batman to me. Anyway, now with Batman versus Superman, it got serious. I don't think they should have put Doomsday in just yet. I think Lex Luthor, to me, the character was more Riddler than Lex Luthor. I think the Batman story, the Superman adapting was fantastic. When they added the Martha thing, it would have worked. It would have worked if the character of Lex Luthor was more villainous, more evil, more into the point where, you know, they were like, oh my God, it's a Martha kind of deal, which wouldn't matter. The fight scene was great. Could have been longer. And it could have been continued to the point where it should have been another Batman versus Superman to continue it. And then finally introduce Justice League kind of deal. You know, that's the only problem DC has, is that they don't follow their animation. Animation is fantastic in DC. Best ever. Beats Marvel animation to the point where I think the Spideyverse was a copycat of DC's kind of animation project. And the What Ifs is the same thing. I was like, oh my God, they're doing the same thing. That's finally Marvel's getting it. Follow the DC. Let the writers tell their story, adapt correctly with the comic book instead of making something up, you know. But anyway, so yeah, that's the deal with DC, man. It's just that hopefully now that Discovery's in there, Warner Brothers is getting cleaned. They're fixing it more where they're going to tell, not just save budget money, but actually tell a great story with all the creators involved. That includes the comic book writers. So we'll see how it goes, man.
They're actually, from what I heard, they're working on a Wonder Twins movie.
That is still up in the air. It's on and off. It's on and off. The last I heard of it, it was off, and there's rumors that it was just a kind of deal where they actually want to introduce them again. I mean, of course, we got a little bit of the Wonder Twins back in The Flash, I believe. Or was it The Flash or Legends of Tomorrow? One of them. And of course, in one ending of Crisis, you hear the monkey in the background laughing. So I tell you, I watch a lot of DC.
So before we get into some rapid fire here, Cirilo, before we put you in the hot seat, as I like to call it, the rapid hot seat, I gotta ask you. I saw this about your paranormal experience. They call you the paranormal magnet.
Yeah.
I have to. You gotta tell me this story, man. Like, what is up with the paranormal?
Here's the deal. I think it reflects to my life when I was a kid and the troubles and also the tragedy that I went through, from attempting suicide to witnessing death and a whole lot of things. I think, and me being a kid, used to hear things, see things, never told people things, because I didn't want to be straight jacket thing, you know. So a friend of mine that works on History Channel and ID Channel as an investigator, Keith Age, which is well known. He's the paranormal rock and roll guy kind of deal. Been in this all the time and always had a kind of a feeling about me. And without telling me, because he knows how I am about being invited into that stuff, that realm, without being warned or introduced. So he kind of wanted to do it his own way. So anyway, I got invited to a house that's over 100 years old, with slave tunnels under it. It was in Kentucky. If you guys never been to Kentucky, the whole state is haunted. But anyway, got to see things that, long story short, video of a girl following me, me almost passing out, me falling down me falling down almost to my knees, seeing smoke coming behind me, seeing blood coming out of walls, hearing voice boxes mentioning my name, having conversations with me, to the point where it like freaked the hell out of me out, you know. But anyway, that led to rumors coming around the whole paranormal industry. Next thing you know, I'm getting calls. People that are related with ID Channel, History Channel, paranormal investigation groups, the whole deal. So I started getting invited to these places, and knock on wood, every time I went, things happen. When I say things happen, people are like, you mean like the TV shows and all that stuff? No, I say things happen that even them as investigators that have been in it in over 30 years or more or less or whatever,
Right.
have witnessed stuff that they never witnessed before. Lights flickering when there's no light bulbs, full conversation, voice boxes, seeing things that, hearing and seeing things that happen before any crisis happened. I mean, it's like crazy stuff, man. Unbelievable. I mean, there's so much, and to the point where it got so big for me going in here and triggering these effects that I do not keep any evidence. I let the paranormal people, the companies, everybody else keep all the evidence to show that I'm not a fraud, that I don't know what it is. I'm slowly being introduced to it. I go to these, I limit myself in paranormal conventions because of, as you know, not just investigators go, we have mediums, we have storytellers, palm readers, gypsies. I mean, the whole deal that involves the paranormal world.
Yeah.
And when I go there, of course, there's effects. People are like, oh, it's your mind playing tricks. You feel energy, you feel things. It's almost like a spidey sense. And they get it worse than me, to the point where they have to, like, almost come up to me like, I have to read your palm. Something's telling me to. Oh, I got to talk to you. Something's telling me to. Or I feel this energy around you. I mean, so strong where it's almost like they need a fix. And I work with promoters like, hey, man, I know what's going on. I know what they're feeling. I know what they hear. I am not ready for it. I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm not ready to experience it. I'm still learning. I'm still studying. I still can't take that because I go with PTSD and I don't want to get too much triggered in what's going on in the afterlife and so forth. Again, it has nothing to do with faith, whether you're a believer or not. It's a whole new aspects of the world that you have to judge and see and witness for yourself. And yeah, man, I shake things. I don't know what it is, but I bring it, buddy.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was a skeptic until my grandmother died in 2010. And then we had a friend who's a medium. They never met my grandmother. A couple of months after my grandmother passed, she started telling stories through my grandmother that only I and my grandmother knew and Mel didn't knew.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of changed. That experience changed a lot. And then when I became a ghost tour guide, I got a lot of photos. I can end up sending you, but there was one photo where a couple takes a photo of me through the window, through the mirror. There's a face covering my face. There's a point where we're downstairs at the BB King's nightclub. Apparently, during the Civil War, that was where they stored slaves at the bottom of that building. And the lights are out. This woman from Georgia took a photo. Right next to the exit sign is a woman in a like a Southern Belle dress, just standing there. But this one might get to you too, because I have a friend who's in the military. He came to one of mine, and apparently a military, almost like a Civil War ghost, was attached to him. And kept following him. And I get those same feelings as you. Like, I get these, like, we went to a friend's house one time. They had like a spirit box, and it said, "Hello, Kevin."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't know if I'm a magnet as well, but apparently it seems.
Dude, you got to check.
Happen.
Them things happen. Them things happen like crazy.
And so, yeah, what I've been trying to do is I want to do a study to see whether or not mental health, whether spirits can mess with your mental health. Like, I want to do like a study on that just to see, like, if maybe spirits can trigger it more, or maybe it can do stuff like that. And that's something I've always wanted to kind of try to dig into. But yeah, I tell anybody, you have to experience it. You don't always have to see things in order to experience. Yeah.
Here's the deal with the paranormal thing, and you have to separate it from going to haunted house attractions and paranormal investigations.
Right.
It is a totally different thing. Going to the paranormal world. Let's say you go to Rolling Hills Asylum in New York, where I went through a lot of stuff. I passed out, woke up in another room. I mean, I go on with the stories in there, but I always say you go in there with strong, positive energy, along with being away from the feeling of fear, because everything gets fed to what you feed it. You go in there with fear, disrespect, anger, hate. They live off of that shit. They literally feed off of it. If you go in there with showing love, respect, without, any kind of anger or negative emotions, things click better. And they don't feel, it's like it's not felt as often for them. So, and when I say them, it's just the spirit realm. Like I said, people can judge of what it is. My wife was like, that's the devil playing tricks on you, honey. That's what I'm telling you, baby. You can't. Cirilo, do you think, honey, this is some crazy stuff? I mean, what if we, but then again, we believe in angels. We believe in crazy, phenomenal events where someone said, my dad saved me from the water when I was drowning, and he'd been dead for so many years. And we believe in different kind of spiritual attachment to either Christianity or religion, but we can't believe in something in the afterlife where it's unexplained, but it's been showing evidence for crazy amount of years, and even when recordings were invented.
I was letting you know about this, Cirilo, but apparently in July 29th, the 29th and 30th and 31st, they're having a StarCast. I know SummerSlam's in Nashville, but they're having a StarCast wrestling convention at the fairgrounds. Ric Flair is going to wrestle one last time.
Yeah.
And
NWA, they're doing the last NWA, not NWA, but the Crockett Cup. Is it Crockett? Who are they? They're dedicating it to somebody.
I know it's a Jim Crockett thing.
Yeah, it's a Jim Crockett last thing for Ric Flair, and he wanted to go out with Jim Crockett Promotions because that's pretty much where it started from. Which Jim Crockett Promotions don't exist no more, but they still use the label title. Yeah.
I didn't know if you would be going to that convention or not.
I don't know. I have to look at my calendar. I know about it because a few wrestling friends asked me to go, and I told them I got to look it up. The whole deal is my calendar is crazy because if I have something open, I'm usually gets it filled with someone like, hey, want to film something this weekend? We got to do this, we got to do that, or whatever. But most of the times I can open it up to the point where I'm like, yeah, let's do something today. So if that's open, dude, you never know, man. I'm over here crossing my fingers that I don't have nothing going on in for the Metropolis Superman celebration that I usually was going every year, and finally there's none on my calendar where I can go, and because it's been so locked down for me. But man, wrestling, I take every opportunity to go, man. Especially Impact. I'm good friends with a lot of people in Impact Wrestling. And Tyrus is my buddy out there doing this thing, of course, promoting his book. But yeah, dude, I might go to it. You never know, man. I'm not gonna get in the ring. Woo!
I'll tell you what, though, I would let that 73-year-old man chop me. I would.
Oh yeah, dude, he's doing it.
I would let him do it.
He's doing it. He's definitely doing it. He's taking some bumps, man. I seen the video where they're working him out.
Now, here's a good rapid fire question for you. If you could punch a celebrity, a wrestler in the face, who would it be?
Ooh, that punching it. I don't know. I love everybody. I love everybody. Oh, I'll tell you what. Man, this is dark. I don't think people will know this. If you know the story of Bruiser Brody,
Yeah.
how Bruiser Brody died, how it's been covered up. Personally, there's 2 people in Puerto Rico that are still alive, and I believe they are involved from killing him to hiding it, and that would be great people that I would like to get in front of and give them a little washboard and punch the living crap out of them.
You found one.
And that's a wrestling thing. Like I said, you got to know the story of Bruiser Brody.
Oh, I know the story. I know what he's talking about. Yeah, there's 2 people in Puerto Rico who I still believe too are connected to that murder of him. As far as celebrity goes, I guess Cirilo loves everybody, so we can't.
I won't punch any celebrity. There's some diva celebrities I know that I don't want to say their name, but I'm like, I won't hang around with them no more. Just because that's that celebrity type diva shit, you know. I only want blue M&Ms. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding.
Oh, what do you think would happen if you could book a wrestling match with our current president with our former president? I'm telling you, tickets will sell. Tickets will sell. I mean,
oh my god, no comment.
I had to throw that one out there because it would be kind of fun to actually see that. But what would be your dream role? Like, if you could be in any movie, in any role, what would be your dream role?
Freaking superhero. I like to be a new Green Lantern.
I think you'd make a good one.
I like to be the retired Green Lantern, almost like Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. Like to do. I wrote actually a story like it, but I like to do Green Lantern. Out of all superheroes, even though I love Superman, I think there's a few heroes that you shouldn't touch their story, and I think Superman is one of them. You know, Bruce Wayne, you can attach it, of course, you know, but I would say Green Lantern. I would say reason why, because he is like the closest more of a great superhero that's not really presented right, even though they did a movie which was too early for its time. But I like the Green Lantern thing. That'd be a nice superhero to be, character and actor wise. And I would love to be a legend horror freaking character like Jason and Freddy.
Yeah.
I would love to be that. So those are 2 characters I would love to be. And which hopefully Slattery, when we introduce my character Sykes, hopefully that will work out because he's a freaking nutball.
Oh, who knows? Maybe if we do this Friday the 13th movie,
or Saturday the 14th.
Saturday 14th. We can always have you come in as Freddy and kind of see what Jason's doing.
I tell you what, there's a buddy of mine right now that's working on the rights to a certain, I can't tell you much, but a certain Friday the 13th era that nobody owns but one person owns, besides the whole trial stuff with the hockey mask thing. And they're working on doing something where if it works right, I will be working on them with them in this legit Friday the 13th product that is not related to any fans or nothing. It is a legit certified licensed Friday the 13th project.
I was hearing that they might do a TV show based on Pamela Voorhees and her, her traveling with him and stuff like that and killing people. So
yeah, that's you're hearing right.
I keep my eyes on the board.
It's funny because you put 2 and 2 together.
So
that's pretty much close to what's going on.
What's your since you get into the ring, what's your finishing move in the ring? Like what is Cirilo?
Dead end drop. It's called the dead end drop. It's a DDT. And I call it a dead end drop because it is the the whole Jake the Snake Roberts mixed with the Diamond Cutter mixed with the Scorpion Death Drop. And it's a simple DDT. I just say it's like the power universe of all of them to knock them out. But I do it like a really fast snap, so it looks dangerous, almost like what RKO does, the whole RKO thing.
So who would be your dream opponent if you can actually?
My dream opponent. First of mine is AJ Styles. And I think the reason why is because I watched him grow up, and I was like watched him as an independent and not even in any kind of organization. Busted his ass, man. And when he did all his thing, I always thought TNA was treating him wrong, Impact Wrestling treating him wrong, you know, and then he kept quiet for a long, long time. And that surprise that I felt at King of the Summer, which one was it? The Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
When he showed up for the first time in WWE, bro, I about screamed and shook everything. That was like the best surprise in all of wrestling for me. When AJ showed up, and I was like, what the fuck? So, yeah.
Do you think WWE's used him pretty good?
Say what?
You think WWE has been using him pretty well?
I think they have used him pretty well until 3 years ago when they started teaming him up, and then they started, pushing him around in different, like SmackDown, Raw, NXT, and then they put Omos on him, and I mean, he went through a lot of different things, but he has a good run when he was a single coming in, being a baby face / heel. He was never a certified heel, but more like a baby face / heel kind of deal. I think that's the best way to do him. But I think AJ should go away for a while and then come back later. Give him a vacation to build his whole character back up.
So I got to tell some people this funny story too. When we were filming the Myers versus Voorhees, we rode in. I remember we were having car trouble, so we rode in the van with Kenny and Santiago here. And Kenny was driving so slow that Santiago was like, "Look, man, that bee passed you." And I mean, that was one of our funniest stories on there because we were like,
"Oh my god,
no,
that was years ago."
You were dressed as Michael Myers in his house.
Yeah.
And the behind the scenes, and Cirilo goes, and his character goes, "Every time you come back to life, I have to pay the movie ticket."
Oh my god, I remember that.
I don't usually break character, but I did that day.
That was funny.
I didn't break character, but that was
that was a great moment there.
Now, here's a good one for you. Here's a good rapid fire question. How do you think Julio would have handled if he would have stayed on the show and you would have been on season 6 and 7 of The Walking Dead? How do you think Julio would have handled Negan and them?
He was shot Negan. Period. He just shot him because there's so many opportunities where, I mean, damn, Stormtrooper. I have seen Stormtroopers hit better than that, shoot better than that. Golly, there was times where they just shooting, and nobody hit him. I'm like, what? There was times where they had opportunity where they could just reach over and stab them, and I mean, I don't know. I would have got rid of them quick.
I was telling her in season 7 they had the chance where that tiger could have jumped on him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, the tiger could have ate Negan at that point and been done.
There's so many times, yeah. I guess, I don't know. I guess that kind of storyline is just too much far-fetched.
What is Cirilo's favorite food? Like, what do you like to eat?
Dude, I eat everything. I'm never picky, but if I ever get the opportunity, I always eat food I was raised in. Rice and beans, baby. Some Puerto Rican food. It's not Mexican food. It's Puerto Rican food.
That is correct. It is Puerto Rican food. Now, a lot of people don't know this. I know this is a sports fan. I got sports fans on here, but you were one of the biggest Ohio State Buckeye fans.
Yeah, buddy. I was raised in Lorain, Ohio. You raised in these towns where it's a sports town. So I love the Buckeyes. I lived in Columbus. Always loved the Buckeyes. Always loved the Cleveland franchise teams. But I'm always a supporter, man. I've been in the horseshoe. I've loved basketball, baseball, football, all that stuff. So, yeah, I love Ohio State, dude.
Now, when you were were you rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yes, I was. Just the fact that, there's a great thing about football and other sports. As before, you had that whole deal where you got tired of seeing the same damn team winning all the time. Like, oh my God, everybody, if not, they're in the same playoffs, same championship game, same Super Bowl, same basketball championship game. And now we have a great formula where all these owners and coaches are actually getting along together, and they're making these great teams where they're all competitive. Look at the last couple of years of the NBA Finals. Look at the last couple of Super Bowls, and baseball World Series games and stuff, and even hockey, man. I mean, a lot of things are changing to the point where it's more competitive and more great to watch compared to seeing LeBron James and them again. Oh boy, kind of deal. So I'm very happy for it, dude. Very happy.
I have to ask you this because I was asking if you were rooting for the Bengals because I had some Bengal fans who popped up during when they were facing the Titans. They know I'm a Titan fan, and they kept doing this whole who they stuff.
Yeah, who they? I'll tell you what. I know what's great about the whole year with Cincinnati, not just winning, being the Super Bowl chance, but Ickey Woods gets a job again. Oh my God! It's just the Ickey Shuffle came back to life. I mean, the man was hurting, broke. And he actually now he's doing his thing. You see him in interviews, and I'm very happy for it. But other than that, man, Cincinnati deserves every bit of it, man. They got a great quarterback, great franchise. But just remember this: great can't stay great forever. Not in football.
We have a Steelers fan in the comment section. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Yeah, he's an idiot. That's all right. And the best thing about the Steelers is when, and back in the 70s when Terry Bradshaw was quarterback and the Browns broke their line and knocked his ass out and they had to drug him out. I mean, that's just me. I mean, I don't get me wrong.
Terry Bradshaw acts a little funny now.
Even Terry doesn't. Anyway, yeah. And listen, and they're gonna brag. Steelers fans always brag. We got more Super Bowl rings than y'all. The Patriots, we're champions too, and all you hyped up Super Bowl. Let me tell you, football has been around longer than the Super Bowl. So to me, the Super Bowl is a marketing franchise deal. They rather have you buy their quarterbacks, even their quarterbacks changes names and changes teams. They rather have you buy the dang jersey than buy a ticket to the stadium. I guarantee you that. So to me, the real championship games are the football world championship games. So the Cleveland Browns won plenty of those. Before it was a Super Bowl, they played football and still went to their regular full-time or part-time job afterwards.
Oh, while you don't like the Steelers, Mel does not like the Cowboys.
No.
So she's
the Cowboys, America's team. I don't think it's home anymore. The cheerleaders is what made the Cowboys.
No.
I know you're Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Okay, we'll watch the Cowboys play since the cheerleaders are in.
I know you were talking about basketball. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Thank God.
It was more a competitive sport back in them days. Before the 90s is where it started changing. Jordan it wasn't just Jordan back in them days. It was Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dumas, Isaiah Thomas. I mean, a list can go on and on with everybody in that kind of era, where it was 70s and 80s was a great basketball era. More competitive, even though Jordan beat the odds, man, and he did all the things that he can do. Not only did he win championships, he kept it by helping create, which Phil Jackson was the mindset, help create, adding what, the franchise stayed in one more championship, added Scottie Pippen, Greg Hodges, all them guys in Chicago, which I didn't like it because I'm a Cleveland Cavs, so I had to witness the Jordan era,
Yeah, I'm a Bulls fan, so I'm sorry about that.
That's a bunch of bull crap.
Now, here's a good one. If you could, what's the difference with Ohio and Tennessee? Like, if anybody's ever been to Ohio, what's the difference?
Less middle fingers, less FU bombs. Hospitality, man. I don't know. I love the reason why is that in Ohio, it was more fast paced. It's a lot living in the North. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I love my state of Ohio. I love being raised there. I love my town of Lorain. But it was so fast to the point where people didn't have time to appreciate a life. We had to go to work. We had to do this. We had to do that. And, and I was growing up. So I'm always like going to the clubs or going this, When I came to Tennessee and being in the mindset in the military, I got to open doors. I got to shake hands. I got to learn the yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Never said that up north, Got to understand more of a slow pace. Got to understand more of life and where I wanted to do and get to myself, hey, man, I need to grow up and live it now and do what I want to do. So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. And plus the seasons are different. We get a longer summer in Tennessee and we get less snow than in Ohio and less cold effect.
Yeah, that's when I went up there with Mel in New Jersey. It was so fast paced. I was like, what in the world is this? I'm about to get run over just by walking.
And it's getting like that in Nashville now, but we still try to keep it the way we can.
Now, what's your favorite movie of all time? If you had like a top three, what would be?
Yeah, Urban Cowboy is my favorite movie. Looking for love in all the wrong. Yeah, dude. I got a soundtrack. Urban Cowboy. My second movie would probably be Back to the Future. I'm very old school. So my favorite Christmas movie and my number 3 movie of all times is It's a Wonderful Life. And It's a Wonderful Life is really not a Christmas movie. It wasn't made to be a Christmas movie. I know the whole history and everything of it. But that's like my third best movie. I say fourth will be more of the horror monster genre. Frankenstein, Dracula, Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, all that old school stuff to the point where I even love all the crossover with Abbott and Costello and Three Stooges, stuff like that, dude. That's my old school. I used to watch Charlie Chaplin movies. I'm a geek in the film business, but those are kind of like the top 3. Everything else kind of falls in place, because you live that genre and all the 80s, 70s, 80s, Star Wars, all that, all the shock and awe. But movie-wise, it's them kind, Urban Cowboy and so forth.
If you were to go back, if you had a Back to the Future time machine, what time would you go back to? Like what decade would you go back?
70s. Look, here's the deal. It's gonna be a funny joke, but it's a serious, true thing. If I had a time machine, I would go as far as I can just to witness and stay for a minute because Once they see the brown skin in a super spaceship, I am through. They will kill me. They will spear me, hang me, drag me, cook me, eat me. I mean, you know, so in the 70s, it started good kind of vibe, you know.
Is there any hidden talents that you have that most of your peers don't know?
Oh my God. Hidden talent. Oh, I could play the trombone. I used to play trombone. Let's see what else hidden talent. I draw. I can draw pretty good. I mean, I can draw pretty good. But I
don't think I ever showed Cirilo my hidden talents. Yeah,
that's fun.
You know something, Cirilo? You talk all that damn trash about that damn AEW shirt and all that stuff.
Yeah, buddy.
And then they're like, yeah, you know what you need to do? You need to work on your biceps and your triceps a little bit, you know.
No, dude, I love freaking people can do that, dude. That's the funniest shit.
See, I've always wanted to do voice acting because I would always do like, what you do over there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, you can do it. What you do is you get a recorder and a mic, and you, which I got to do my reel, and then you put it all together. You can do the video as you do now, but you can have a recorder and so forth, and just do it, man. Do different things. Write stuff down. Do a monologue. Do a good monologue of a movie, and make it serious, make it sad, make it happy, make different sound effects. It doesn't have to be always cartoon, but you could get a monologue in a serious movie and freaking have the voice of Scooby doing it or something. You never know, dude.
Well, you know, I know you have a TikTok, which we follow you, but we haven't.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn TikTok. I'm starting to, but look, literally, I wake up in the morning, I'm drinking like 15 cups of coffee, reading emails, answering messages, reading scripts, working to contracts and stuff. A lot of stuff I do, and my wife don't even know I'm doing. She thinks I wake up in the morning and watch TV most of the day. But I do a lot of work behind the scenes, and one of the things I want to get involved with is, you know, as much as I can. But yeah, dude, I could do the whole voiceover, do all these movie stuff, and still get it going on. I'm in it.
I mean, I don't know. I just started developing TikTok lately and just started. Now I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I should start doing my voices on there. I already got my Arnold one on there.
Dude, do it. You know what? Film yourself doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, and then you do another character like he's talking to, like, what the hell you said? You know, do Stone Cold responding like, what the hell did you say? Oh, she shut up, and go back and forth.
Here goes another one.
Put it out. People watch that stuff.
Yeah. You know what you need to do is pump it up. What the fuck are you talking about, man? You're talking about.
There you go. And switch it around.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing with that. But I want to thank you though, man. You actually have, you know, you served your country. That always should be respected. Anybody that ever does, men and women that wear that uniform should always be respected for what they do. And that's one thing that I've always appreciated. And that when one of the first times we met you, when you told me you were an Army veteran, I respected that right off the bat. And
appreciate it, bro.
And you were very much a mentor to all of us youngsters that day. We're over there like trying to get something going, and here you are, just like little ones. My Padawans.
Yeah,
you were kind of like our Obi-Wan Kenobi, just kind of showing us.
That's good, man. I mean, anything that I could do to help, you never know what doors it opens up later on. You know, people want to be actors one minute, next thing you know, they end up being writers or something else. So you always give an opportunity if you can, or what the hell, man, let's just do it kind of deal. And if you got time to do it, man. It's support each other's talents and arts, man. You never know what doors it can open up. I'm personally, my one dream job would be is to film a movie, get hired from somebody who I remember was a camera guy or a grip guy. It's like, hey, remember you did this movie and you talked to me, and it always stuck to my head, and I always wanted you, and then my dreams was to have you on my movie. And so that would mean so good to me. Stuff like that. That's kind of what I always hope for. It ain't about, oh man, I'm gonna make $1 million. Let me play a character. So people, I'm always real, dude. I never change for nothing.
I would love to film a movie about mental health and get,
You can, man. They did it with Joker.
I know, and but I want to show people how I want to show people how it really is on a daily basis. Like when you don't take your meds that day, or you don't do certain things,
You don't smoke your marijuana that day.
Yeah. Well, it's been great, Cirilo. I mean, I thank you for. I know you're a busy guy and you take a lot.
Yeah, I'm just checking out the weather because it's storming rain, and I'm making sure my garage door is closed. I'm gonna have to chat a little bit.
Well, we definitely want to. I know you were talking about it before the show, but I definitely am interested in making some money on a podcast. Definitely.
Yeah, dude. Look, let's do a podcast. Let's create one. You're not too far. You live in Madison, right?
Yeah, I can still get to you. I remember where you're at.
Yeah. So what we could do is, I don't know how. I mean, just the layout of everything. We'll talk again. We'll video chat or something, and then just the layout. How you doing? Shoot, you got your stuff on YouTube. You got. It looks like it's the way it's set up so great. At the same time, we can, add some sponsors and do a weekly show. And just talk about it.
The StreamYard I'm using, I'm only using the free one, but there is one where you can buy and you can put your own logo. You can put your own.
Yeah,
logo.
Dude, we'll get that. I mean, the whole deal is to do a whole full podcast with streaming, with logos, with commercial blocks, to bring people in and all that stuff, and at the same time, but do it in build a studio in my house. I got enough room for it.
We got to find certain topics to talk about. I don't know if you wanted to talk.
No, dude, it's an open topic thing, entertainment and all that, news and and joke and bring up topics. The whole deal is you got to create it. Be more of an open thing. But the best topics that I stay away from, number one is religion, politics. 2 is politics. Yep. I just want to talk about life, man. I just want to talk about life, and people say, I don't want to tell you who to vote for. I don't want to tell you what product to buy. But if I sell something as a sponsor, for getting sponsors, it's something that I believe in. My buddy does Smitty's, for example, Smitty's barbecue sauce. Veteran makes his own sauce. I don't care. I mean, I support veterans, but if your sauce tastes like shit, I'm not going to eat it. Good sauce. Hey, Smitty's barbecue sauce, bearded sauce, the best on the planet. Best on the planet. I'll promote that right now. And he's not paying me to say it. That's kind of deal when I work with sponsors. And then they'll put money in. And then we'll be giving out Smitty's bearded barbecue sauce all over. Or, and I got a friend that does moonshine. That fantastic. Moonshine, I mean, legal. People are like, moonshine? Hell, what kind of damn thing are you doing? No.
We're from Tennessee, man. We got moonshine. We know. Yeah.
So, and we got people that do art. You got, the whole deal. And I have friends that'll be guest stars. I mean, I'm very good friends with wrestlers, actors, even business people, lawyers. I mean, we could go on to different topics. And I don't want to make it to the point where it's a one-sided story. So people won't be like, you're a leftist, you're a rightist. No, I'm a middleist. Get both sides of the story.
And it's always good to always have 2 people on there that may not always agree on a topic. There might be a topic that you might talk about that I may not agree with. Right.
Yeah. I don't get too into it, man, because when you get too into it, everybody has, it doesn't become a discussion. It becomes a theory matter. Well, the theory is, if you want to talk theories, we'll be talking all day about aliens. We'll be talking about different dimensions. We'll talk about universes. We'll talk about paranormal. I mean, I'll go into it where the people are like, oh my God. You got
I also want to tell you, if you ever want to talk, and I know sometimes you bring it up on your profile, but if you ever want to talk about like conspiracies, this woman over here is a very big conspiracy nut. So Uh,
Well, I'm not going to call myself a nut, but
not a nut, but you know.
I'm interested. That's all I got to say about
Oh, we can do it. We can do it. We'll go big or go home. Let's talk about ship shapers and all that. Anyway.
Oh,
Why not?
We'll definitely talk, man, and get a podcast going, dude.
I definitely would love to come. We would
I
definitely.
need the whole deal is I got offered a lot of podcasts, a lot of stuff, but I don't want to travel. I want to be more in studio based, where everything gets fixed and done, and people can. If you want to be a guest, we could try as hard as we can to bring you into the set, or we'll do something else, pre-recorded stuff or something. But anyway, yeah, dude, let's talk. Let's get it going.
Also, I have to ask you
Nation podcast.
The one last thing I have to ask you is the whole Will Smith Chris Rock thing. Now, if that was you, Cirilo, and you were Chris Rock, what's your whole ordeal on that? Would you let Will Smith smack you in the face?
He would have got kicked before he lifted his arm. I am an infantry veteran and a martial artist.
I remember that. Yeah,
one glitch of kind of a defense mode that I come in, it's a natural retraction. I will hit you with a stiff kick, and he would have been probably back sitting in his chair from flying. That's what he would have landed with. And that's the honest truth. I mean, professionally, Chris Rock did the right thing. Professionally, he did the right thing. We could go into theory matters. Did he slap him? Is it a marketing thing? Is it some of the Illuminati's thing? I mean, we could go into theories. But the bottom line, let's just go into the universe we're used to seeing. He did the right thing, a professional thing. Will Smith ruined a lot of his career. Not ruined his career fully, ruined a lot of his career. But me personally, yeah, dude, he'd have had a stiff, straight kick where I probably would have broke his sternum.
Now, if that would, I always told people, if that would have been Jason Momoa or Dwayne Johnson.
Nah, he wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't
have done it. No.
No, he probably would have felt so upset if he did feel upset because he laughed at it at first, and then he saw the reaction with his wife. He probably would have walked away. I ain't hitting no Jason Momoa. I ain't hitting no Rock, man. I'm out.
But you know what? It's been a great conversation. Santiago Cirilo. I also, if you go in the description of the video, not only do I have his book on there, I also have his IBM so you can see what all movies and TV shows he's been in. There's some of them that could be on some streaming devices. I remember we watched one once that was on Hulu or Amazon. So
The
Beast. Yeah, we watched The Beast.
Yeah, Beast of the Water, Rosalie. I got so many movies. A lot of them, they're on Amazon. They're also on Tubi and Hulu. Just look around Apple. Everybody's like, you just got to look at it or Google the name title. Usually most of the internet or the apps will tell you where to find them. But yeah, dude, I'm streaming all over Nashville, Hallmark, all that stuff.
That's right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Big Kev from Big Kev's World. This is Santiago Cirilo, one of the greatest people on the planet, one of the nicest guys.
Yeah, baby! Get ready! Because it's on like Donkey Kong every day in and out. Hiya, nation! Stay away from the negativity. Believe in yourself. Follow your dreams. Always be you and live your damn life because you are living it now. So live it right.
And that's the bottom line because Santiago said so.
Oh, yeah!